What's good? I'm Kinell, and this is Sinister Cinema, where we get deep into the guts of the stranger side of cinema. Just letting you know with this little bit at the start that we now have a Patreon. Sub up to that and you can get all these episodes early and ad-free, so you won't even see this bit at the start. You get them a few days before the main episodes drop out. We've got some great guests coming up. We've got some studio episodes. We've got some Zoom episodes with some fantastic rappers talking about the films they love and the films that influenced them. We got a lot going on there. Plus, you get some bonus content like film reviews, all that kind of thing. I don't need to explain this to you. You know what a Patreon is. But yeah, it's patreon.com/Kinell Sinister Cinema. So check that out. Peace. Yes, people. What's good? I'm Kinell, and this is Sinister Cinema, where we get deep into the guts of the stranger side of cinema. Kinell Sinister Cinema is brought to you by Forgotten Sons Apparel. Check them out at ForgottenSonsApparel.co.uk. Forgotten Sons Apparel is a York-based streetwear brand drawing inspiration from alternative culture, tattoos, film, classic TV and cartoons from our childhood. In our own words, if you like our stuff half as much as we do, then we like it twice as much as you. I'm a big fan of this brand and I love the guys who make it. They've supported me for years, way before I was podcasting. They supported me in my battle rap career. You might have seen me rocking some of their garments on Don't Flop and other leagues. I love Forgotten Sons Apparel and I'm urging you all to check them out at ForgottenSonsApparel.co.uk. Right, now on with the show. Hey, what's good? Once again, it is the KSC Podcast. I am Mr. Always Had a Buzz of every rhyme I wrote, and everybody want to know me like the Wi-Fi code, Kinell himself. Back at it, getting a bit slack on these pods, but I'm going to make sure we're keeping it a bit consistent. I've had a lot going on, but we'll get into that shortly. One thing I would like you to know is that I am fully cracking on with the development for Your Last Christmas. KSC Games is officially a thing. Going to be dropping my first PC game round about Christmas time, and I will be dropping it. Going to try and drop it like 2 weeks early on the Patreon for this. So that's patreon.com/Kinell Sinister Cinema. I'm back on the streaming ting, twitch.tv/Kinell, and fucking all the back episodes will be going up on the YouTube. You know what that is if you're watching this. You're probably not, though, because people only listen to my podcast in audio format for some fucking reason. So shout out to the few of you that actually do check the YouTube, because I do love it. I love a bit of visuals. It's what I'm about. It's my whole thing. It's a fucking movie podcast. Of course I like visuals. Them ones. I say it's a movie podcast. It's also we get a lot of battle rap in the mix here. So I've been all over the place on social media. I tried to dip social media briefly last week, but it turns out that wasn't doable because I missed some very important information. And I don't think I'm going to be able to communicate with a lot of people I need to communicate with if I don't have social media anymore. So that's not going anywhere. I'm Kinell on Blue Sky. I'm a Sinister_Cinema on your Twitter, and Kinell.la, that's LAA, on your Insta. So all of them things are still going to be hanging around. But what I have decided, one thing I want to shout out, Drunken Horror. Check out the last episode of Drunken Horror. Shout out the Drunken Horror girls down in Brighton. Always a pleasure. I guested on their recent episode to talk about House of Wax. That was a fantastic combo. Really enjoyed doing that. In that, I did mention that I am knocking battle rap on the head after 8 years. Yeah, I didn't know where I was because I had a few things booked and some of them have been pulled now. And I'm just going to spit 3 last rounds, and that's going to be up in Scotland because it only felt right. Because I love battling in Scotland, and fucking battling somewhere that's a bit more off the beaten track. That's a bit more me, It's been a fucking wild 8 years. It's been a lot of traveling, man. I've caught planes. I've seen countries I wouldn't have seen otherwise. I've seen a whole lot of cities. But after 8 years, I am fucking knackered. Seriously, and I will be concentrating on sitting on my arse and barely leaving my house whatsoever. I'm going full fucking hermit with it. But fucking battle rap's like how I met a lot of people. And what should we call it? So we're still going to be getting a bit of like rap-based content on the KSC because I bring on people I know and like, and that's where I met most of the people I know and like. One of the more recent ones would be DoeJoe. So yes, DoeJoe, how are we?
Yo, what's good?
Yo, do you want to introduce yourself to the people a bit and drop them socials?
Yes, it's DoeJoe. I'm a new battle rapper. I started out this year. You can find me on Premier Battles and Don't Flop this year. My Twitter socials, or Twitter socials in general, DoeJoe MC on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, I quickly had a panic because I'm running off of personal hotspot data right now, and it was all freezing beforehand. But we're good. We're here. We're clear, so yeah, but hey, we move.
Yeah, personal hotspot data, man. I thought you was in London, man.
Yeah, I know. I don't pay for Wi-Fi. I just have my hotspot.
Jeez, man, fucking cost of living hitting us all hard, man. Fucking like I pay a lot for internet. I pay a hell of a lot for internet, and it's cost me very, very deeply. But yeah, I first met you at Don't Flop's April Fools, where you battle my boy Hulk.
Yeah, I learned a lot very quickly on that one. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, it's good meeting you. It's good seeing that. That was when the horrorcore battle happened with Gas, and yeah, it was a fun event, man.
I enjoyed writing for that, but that was a funny fucking day for me. I have a lot of fucking funny days. These happen over fucking 8 years, man. It's been it's been a thing. Like fucking I'm finding it like I'm trying to picture like what was going on in my first year when I was at the point you were at now, and times were very different, man. This was the King of the Ronalds era. Like I was battling weekly.
Right. Yeah. Different times.
Yeah, very different. So fucking like fucking what's it like getting into battling now? Like it's a different fucking world to the one I came into.
It's been an interesting one for me because I constantly get the angle of being a fan beforehand. So I'd like been a fan growing up. Like I watched it around Blood in the Water 5 times. Watched a lot of Jump Up when I was younger. And then kind of grew out of it in 2016, then got back into it lockdown times. So I missed the boat in regards to Prem. Even with Gift of the Gab, I didn't get to see a lot of that stuff until after that. So we've been playing a lot of catch up, really, still. And then I had like my first year of going to events. My first ever live event was Tony D and Nugget, Frankie and Visual, all the smoke at Prem. So I had a whole year of going to events first before I decided to jump into it because it's been something I'd wanted to do forever and umming and ahhing and all this stuff. And then, you look at a tryout, it's called a tryout for a reason. You try out and give it a whirl, and here we are. And yeah, it's been a fucking ride so far, man. You realize people are weirder than they are in real person. But apart from that, I love it. It's like one of my favorite things I've done. So this is it. I mean, I'm still green, but,
it's a fucking constant learning curve. Like fucking, it's mad. I think fucking, I was on a constant learning curve until like I didn't know where I fucking was anymore. I don't know where I am now. But yeah, so we had a bit of a chat outside of the April Fools. Like fucking. You got some pretty advanced taste in cinema. That
oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, I got fucking. What was it we was talking about? Like, do you remember?
I mean, I know we definitely would have been talking about Jennifer's Body because I was wearing the Fangoria top for the Gas battle. Yeah. So yeah, definitely a bit of that. I know in January you like Benson and Moorhead, so I know that would have probably come up at some point. Yeah, man. I love my films. Like, if I'm not into rap, like I fall in and out of love, and I fall in and out of love with rap and out of love with film. So I flip flop between the two, and film is a part of me. Like, just in general, I studied it for fucking 4 years, and I did student films and all that jazz. And yeah, man, battle rap is a great place to fucking mass reference films.
Yeah,
good and bad.
It fucking is like, and fucking it's quite interesting, like how like fucking in a 90-second round you can apply the kind of a storytelling structure. Like, have you tried to do much of that really, like with your writing?
Yeah, to be fair, it's funny because I remember you said you had a Chekhov's gun scheme in the reverse battle, right? Am I right?
I don't
Well, you mentioned it. You mentioned Chekhov's gun, I remember. But yeah. I had a kind of thing like that in my last battle with Bentner, where with Lord Bentner, where I talked about him referring, because we were all battling on Short Circuit and how he's marketed it and whatnot. And the thing he used to, that we were all using to market the events was hashtag Short Circuit shit. I set that up in the first round and then brought it back in the third. So stuff like that, little, you know, payoffs. But yeah, it's even like with what you were saying about just what you can do in a short time limit and referencing, like, it's quite funny. I look at my tryout 60-second battle like rounds, and I'm fucking the only person I know that's referenced Danny Myers, ABBA, and fucking John Carpenter in a battle. So, you know,
that's yeah, there's a lot going on there, man. Yeah, fucking definitely. and never give up with the references, man. Always keep them in there, like fucking. The rule I've gone by for years is like there's fucking like loads of shit I fucking like I don't fucking think that anyone will get. So like fucking I leave it in there, and then like I'll fucking try and come up with a bigger line to come after it on the same scheme or that can use as a setup. Leave them in that way, like.
This is it. It's like there's been that kind of debate of like whether or not if you're referencing something solely for you, if it's a bad thing or not. Because I remember that debate popped up with KSC and Jem, because KSC is one of the most reference-filled battle. Like, I didn't know the names of the Oppenheimer bombs until KSC referenced them in a battle. But like even in the Jem battle, he's talking about a bunch of animes that I don't know about, and I think there was a debate on the Don't Flop podcast as to whether or not that's a good thing battle-wise, because you're purely referencing for yourself, but at the same time, it's your, like, the rounds you're doing are your art, and if you want to reference something and it will pop for certain people, you know, hey ho, like that's how a bunch of people know about Death Note, is through Soul. So, and also there will be people that know about that. I brought some mates to the Don't Flop Bristol event, and he was the one mate that popped off at Gast's Doki Doki Literature Club bar because he knew about that shit. So there's always going to be someone there. So, you know, and yeah, at the end of the day, if I'm going to rehearse something a bunch of times, I'm going to have some stuff in there for me. Like, so that's what it is.
That's it. Like, fucking, I find like fucking, like, I used to reference like loads of old jungle tracks and everything. Fucking, like, barely anyone who goes to fucking knows about fucking 90s jungle, man.
Bro, you have a Round the Twist bar at one point, and I was like, yes, let's go. Fucking Australian TV. Like, so yeah, and someone will get it.
This is it. Like, I always find like fucking if it's a bar that I've fucking buried, there'll be like one guy like that'll come up afterwards and go, yeah, I caught that fucking reference to Origin Unknown, Valley of the Shadows or whatever. And you'll fucking end up drinking with that guy, and he'll be like the coolest fucking guy you've ever met. Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
This is it. But yeah, and I know we've been chatting on Twitter quite a lot, because it's interesting seeing the little Venn diagram of battle rap film Twitter. It's like, from what I've seen, it's me, you, Marlo, Gasbuff, and some others that I can't think of right now. But it's just like you'll see like the odd thing, and going off the referencing, like fucking Marlo referenced Skinnamarink, like.
Yeah.
Like these little tidbits happen, and I mean, like, some of my favorite battle rappers will be people that reference, like, you know, like a Frankie Fraser or a Quill. So, you know, it's part of the fucking sport at the end of the day.
Yeah, flipping, like, ultimately it doesn't matter what you're referencing if you're referencing it well.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. So you say you studied like film for 4 years, like fucking like you sent me your short film and I haven't got round to watching it yet. Full clarity in that. Like, so what?
No, it's all good. I'll send that to you because I thought you'd be interested in it basically, because I made it public. I had it private for ages because I wanted to try and get into festivals and all that jazz. It was my second year film, but that was like a body horror, very Cronenberg inspired. And then when I was in uni, I was basically just trying to make surreal shit. That was pretty much my vibe. But yeah, I did a BA in film and then a master's in directing afterwards. The master's didn't feel like it was real because of COVID times. Like I call it Zoomversity, but it's what it is. But yeah, like I for a while I wanted to direct films and do things on the more surreal side. Whether or not I do that in the future, who knows? But I kind of, at the moment, I'm more rap based. I fall like in and out of both art forms. So that's where I'm at with it. But if I had my short film's Hypochondriac. It's on Vimeo.com/JoeDowney, and you can see it there with some other bits and bobs, along with some like 48-hour film challenges, shit like that. So.
Yeah, we'll drop that. I'll drop the link for that in the description, so you can just hop down there and check that straight after this, if you so choose. As long as you're watching it on YouTube, it's not going to do much good in the fucking Spotify comments, is it? But yeah. So what you call it? It's like fucking. I fuck with a bit of body horror myself, like big Cronenberg fan, like fucking like. So what got you into like Cronenberg? Like fucking, what's your put? It was The Fly for me.
Yeah, The Fly. Like I haven't watched all of Cronenberg. Like I've watched a fair, like just little bits and bobs here between like The Brood and Crimes of the Future and The Fly. And yeah, I need to watch his son's stuff. I haven't gotten around to it yet because I know he's got 2 films out at the moment, right? He's got
fucking
Possessor. And
he's got 3. I've got the 2 most recent ones there, and like fucking Infinity Pool. Fucking it's like fighting with Where Evil Lurks for my favorite of the year. Fucking it's very close. I've got to do a second watch on Where Evil Lurks, but fucking Infinity Pool's incredible. I think Possessor was like my favorite film of his that came out that year. And fucking he did one a few years ago called like Antiviral.
Okay.
Fucking. That's very good. It's like fucking like the setup for that. It's like this guy who works for this company, and it's like sort of like set in a comparatively near distant future where people are into like getting like the same strain of flu that fucking like a celebrity's got or something. People pay to get like whatever fucking like virus they got, so they can fucking like feel like their favorite celebrity there. It was like. And this was like quite early with like stan culture on the internet, so it was quite an interesting sort of setup from that. And like this one guy, he like works for this company delivering them, and he infects himself with shit so he can sell it on the black market. And then fucking he infects himself with one thing, and the fucking the person who he got it off dies the next day. So he's like on a timer for that.
Nice.
It's basically like the complete opposite of Crank. Because like he's got, whereas like Crank was like fucking high adrenaline, he's got like 24 hours to sort it out, and he's got to keep it up high. This guy's got like fucking 24 hours to sort his shit out, and he's fucking really ill.
Damn.
Oh, it's fucking visceral, man. It's like when fucking like I don't think anyone's ever done a film with that. Like the feeling of like just when like you're fucking ill and you've got to go to the chemist yourself. And all that shit, man. It's fucking grim. Having to do anything serious when you've got the flu.
Yeah, honestly. Like in terms of like recent horror, I think my favorite thing that I've seen recently is still Barbarian. Like I know that would have been around last year, but that's the one that's kind of stayed with me recently. I've been trying to watch all the Saws again. But I've only gotten to Saw 2. I've only done Saw 1 and 2 this year. But man. So I was watching a bunch of Cronenberg at that time when I was making that. And then then like other just like music videos. Like I made a short film in my first year called The High Life, which was very like it was inspired very, very much like by the Danny Brown Ain't It Funny music video, where it's kind of like a satire on sitcoms and everything. But yeah, that's what I was making at the time. And I think, regards to filmmaking now, I haven't written anything like in fucking years. But I think if I do go back to that anytime soon, it would be like if I'm making I want to start making music videos and incorporating stuff in that. I think that would be the next way of fusing all the interests together in order to kind of kickstart hype up for both of them really. Because this would be my first year making music properly soon. So yeah, it's one of those. Just trying to kickstart it up again because I've fallen out of love with filmmaking quite a while ago. That's what it is.
Yeah, fucking like that. That sounds like fucking wild. Like fucking doing a master's in directing over Zoom. Like, because
it was terrible. It's generally terrible because like it was around the time where it was when we were going into tiers in lockdown. So I think I went to Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth went into tier 2, and then after Christmas, I got in there, and then it went up a tier. So then they went, you can only make films on campus, but then you have to make them with they joined all the directors together, which is always going to work for creative cohesion, getting two fucking egotistical students. And then that happened, and then they went, no, you have to make them remotely. And I'm like, okay, how are we going to make fucking literally every... I literally downloaded Shudder to watch Host because every film was going to be Host, basically. Like, that was the vibes. So yeah, it doesn't feel like a real time, but it's what it is.
Yeah, flipping. I can't remember his name, Christian something, because it was like at the same time like fucking Host was getting made. Fucking Christian, I can't remember his name. I've referenced him on the pod a few times before, like, but he like did a similar thing, like during what we call it, like made a similar thing to Host at the time. Host was being made, and you can watch the YouTube video about what they did because they kind of like made that, and like fucking every like cinema in the like US was like closed.
All right. Yeah.
But it was because like they couldn't have like people in the building, so like drive-ins were like sort of blowing up as a thing.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And like the drive-in theaters like still existed, but like they only had like old classics and shit like E.T. and that, and fucking that was when like things like Invisible Man and stuff were being released straight to streaming, and like the premium streaming thing became a thing. So like what they did was they rented out their local cinema, and they rented out their local cinema, like couldn't have any staff in it, but they like sold all the seats to themselves twice.
All right.
And then like watched the film twice, and that was the most that one film had like sold seats that weekend. So they they topped the US box office. So now they've got they've got that fucking on there, like, oh yeah, had a US box office #1 for like a fucking few £100.
That's definitely going on the front of some of DVD covers. Like, to manage the hack from there.
Yeah, what's the fucking YouTube video about it? Like, it's very interesting. Like, fucking, I spoke to the guy who did it because like Soho Horror Festival were doing their remote things at the time, and he was involved in one of them because this was a thing like they wanted to sell that film to Shudder, but completely independently. Fucking like Host had been made, and like Shudder had just bought Host.
Right. Oh, so it wasn't for Host; it was for a separate film.
Yeah, it was like they were doing the same thing at the same time. One was doing it in America, one was doing it in Britain, and the one in Britain got fucking what should we call it? Was the one that got picked up by Shudder, like days before or something. And you know what the really fucked up thing about it is? Fucking. Like completely independently, they both separately made a film called Dashcam. Fucking the next film after it called Dashcam.
Oh no!
And like I like both the Dashcams, like, but there was a whole thing with it because what should we call it? Like Soho again, like was showing Dashcam from Christian Thingy Bob. And like people were just absolutely fuming that it wasn't the other guy's dash cam. It's like, what can I do? They're called the same thing and they came out at the same time.
Jesus. But yeah. I think at that time I got the 7-day Shudder trial, but then when they tried to give me an extra 3 month, I wanted to be stubborn in that I only wanted to do 7 days. So I was like, no, not doing any more. So I think the only ones I watched were Host, obviously for research. I watched Vivarium. I rewatched Raid, and then rewatched One Cut of the Dead. I think those are the ones I watched during that time. Yeah, Raid being on Shudder was an interesting one for me because I was like, it's not horror adjacent in the slightest, but hey. But you know, shout out Shudder. It's basically the story of that. But have you seen One Cut of the Dead?
I have. What should we call it? I'm a big fan of it.
It's a difficult film to talk about on the podcast because it's a very if you spoil it, it's spoiled. It's a
I think people who've got as far as Kinell Sinister Cinema fucking know about One Cut of the Dead, But fucking because I was in a Fright Fest last year and Grimfest, and because there's been a remake of One Cut of the Dead, it's like a French remake.
Okay, right. Yeah.
But the thing is, fucking One Cut of the Dead exists in the world of the French remake.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So it's like this French film company that are bringing them in instead of what do we call it, that, and they're flying people over from Japan to talk about doing this version of One Cut of the Dead, and it's it's kind of a pointless remake, but it is kind of fun. But One Cut of the Dead's probably the better one.
The OG. Yeah, exactly.
It's an interesting little curio, but it was a bit of a thing because it was just at every fucking film festival, and I only went to 2 last year, and it was at both of them.
How was Fright Fest? I've never had the chance to
go. Fright Fest, I definitely fucking recommend. Last year's was fucking better, but for some reason 2022 was just this banner year for horror. It was incredible.
Yeah.
What should we call it? Barbarian had its premiere there.
Yeah.
There was what should we call it? Shudder was still sponsoring Fright Fest then, and so you were getting things like Dario Argento was there for a fucking premiere at Dark Glasses. There was a lot of big premieres, and just because of how good last year was, it was a bit more low key this year.
Right. Is that this is the one with when you saw Marlowe's short as well?
Yeah. Premiere of Marlowe's short was the 2022 Fright Fest. It was at the Prince Charles Cinema, and a few literally flipping. I went down on the Friday, and on the Thursday I was doing a podcast with Marlowe. Because he missed his own premiere. He was away in Spain.
I'm sure.
And he was talking about how much he rates Quentin Dupieux.
Yeah.
Mr. Wazzo guy fucking does rubber.
I still haven't watched any because they released is it Thank You for Smoking recently or something like that? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to catch any of his films yet. But I need to because I remember when Deerskin was out and obviously Rubber, but I just haven't. There's a bunch recently I'm playing catch up with. To be honest, I've watched a lot less films recently, but such is life. But yeah, man. I'm trying to think. I need to. I had my Letterboxd stuff earlier, man. Let's see what recent horrors we've got in it. But yeah, Barbarian's the one of recent memory for me. And I love that film. In terms of just other sporadic ones, not even necessarily horror. I was looking through my diary the other day. Have you seen Rye Lane?
I haven't.
So it should be on. I think it's on Disney Plus now, but it's just it's meant to be this indie rom-com, but it's set in Peckham, and it's the filmmaker's first ever film, and it's generally one of my favorite films this year. Very opposite to it's not. Very not a horror film, but it's just your standard lovely rom-com, but more. I think more so seeing a London-based rom-com was more refreshing for me, and I can't recommend that film enough, honestly.
Did you say it was your mate?
Sorry?
Did you say it was your mate made it?
Oh no! I'm just saying. I'm just going through just recent stuff I've seen Oh, fucking Talk to Me was this year. How could I forget?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. I always
Mm.
forget that it's the Raka guys. And so it's kind of mad to me that these YouTubers have made this massive horror film.
Yeah, fucking like and they did an impressive job, man. Like,
Yeah,
fucking
definitely.
yeah, fucking. There's a similar kind of thing, but like, what should we call it? Coming out soon, called "It Lives Within," or "It Lives
All right.
Inside." It Lives Inside.
Oh, yeah?
That's fucking like very worth checking.
Okay.
It's an American one, but it's like about this sort of like young Indian girl, and like
Right.
there's like bits of Indian like culture and folklore that I didn't really know about, and that's quite good. I'd recommend that if you like Talk to Me. I'm telling you though, Where Evil Lurks is the fucking one.
Okay. Nice. I'll check that.
Fucking Argentinian guy like who did this other film called Terrified. That's on Shudder. If you did your 7-day trial of Shudder on the app, then have a look on Prime and you could get another one there.
Okay.
If you did it on Prime, do it on the app.
Yeah, I don't know why at the time I was just really stubborn. I was like, no, don't try and give me a free month. I said I was cancelling. Don't even bother. But no, I should have just took the extra 3 months, to be honest. Oh, I watched Horror Noir as well. That was another one I watched. That was a great documentary. And then I added a bunch of shit to my fucking watch list and then never got around to it, like Ganja and Hess and stuff like that. I need to get around to it. Oh no, I think from that documentary I then discovered Bones, which is fucking brilliant. Love that film. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna either come up with a new account or somewhere around it. But yeah, I'm just looking through like recent ones. Obviously, because it's a UK release this year. Pearl was a big highlight. Yeah, I like Pearl more than X, but I've rewatched X more. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Maxine because they've kind of shot all of them back to back.
Yeah, fucking what should we call it? I think he wrote like Pearl, like because they shot it in X in New Zealand because they had to.
Yeah.
And they had to quarantine when they got there. He wrote the whole of Pearl there.
Mad. Yeah.
Have you followed much of Ty West's other stuff?
This is the thing. I only really discovered him when X came out. I hadn't seen his previous stuff, and that's another person I need to get around to. But yeah, I love X and Pearl, so yeah, definitely gonna go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, fucking what should we call it? House of the Devil is fucking fantastic. The Innkeepers is great too. He did one called The Sacrament, which is like sort of like about like this cult in South America, and it's like very based around what happened with the whole Jim Jones thing.
Okay, nice.
Like, I think everything he's did's pretty banging, to be honest. Like,
what's that? Sorry.
I think everything he's done's pretty banging, to be honest.
Yeah, nice. Well, going on to the Jim Jones thing, like my brain just went straight to like cults and everything. We got to chat about The Endless because I know you're a big Benson and Moorhead fan. That's my first discovery of them, and I think they're great. I still haven't gotten around to Something in the Dirt yet, but I got to meet them when they did their they were showing Synchronic at the BFI.
Hell yeah!
I got to fucking chat to them afterwards and get a photo with them. They're solid guys. It's mad to see they're now doing everything Marvel after the fact. Like I think they're doing the Daredevil series now as well. After doing fucking Loki and Moon Knight. So they're getting their bank to do their indies, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I hope they get their money and fucking get out, like, because that fucking Marvel bubble's popping, but like the shit they're doing is so good, like people are like sort of kind of on board with it.
Yeah, this is it. Whereas like I watched Moon Knight for them, but like their voice isn't necessarily in it. They're just very much for hire in that. It feels like, but if that gives them the money to do Something in the Dirt or do The Endless and stuff like this, I mean, I'm all here for it. Just get out while you can because it's popping.
Yeah, I'm going for Nia DaCosta, man. Fucking
what is the deal with? I've seen little bits and bobs about that situation. Like what? It seems like they're kind of giving her a bit of a smear campaign because the film isn't doing well, saying it's her fault when it doesn't seem like it's her fault at all, really. Because I'd seen like articles and stuff being like, oh, she went off and did a different film at the same time. Like, so did James Gunn and so did every other filmmaker ever. So it's like that. I doubt that's the reason why the film is flopping. But yeah, I don't really know what's going on there, to be honest. And it just kind of seems like these studios just kind of pick up indie filmmakers and then when shit goes sideways, blame it on them, which is, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, there's the thing, like, you know, I've only seen like fucking clips of the Marvels thing, and it looks like every other fucking Marvel film. Like, I think they've got like, you know, the same fucking effects, the same fucking like sort of style sheet that every director's got to work within.
Yeah, yeah, this is it.
So like, the fact is that like they've just run out of superheroes that people give a shit about.
Right. Yeah.
Fucking like people are fucking burnt out, man. You fucking put out fucking Iron Man fucking like in 2005, man. People are older, man. Yeah. You can't keep giving them the same shit. Yeah, but I think it's very harsh that she's been blamed for it. I wasn't the the biggest fan of Candyman. But
I was about to say, what did you think of that? Yeah.
But I thought like what she did was good. I saw a lot of potential in the director. My problem with the Candyman was that fucking it's a rare criticism that I'll make, but that it was actually like too short because like there was all the sort of like social issue stuff in it, which was really good. And then they just crammed all the horror into the last like fucking 5 or 10 minutes. And I wanted a bit more horror, but I didn't want any of that social justice stuff cut out because I thought it was done really well.
This is it, like, but I think with that one, like, I remember it being shot really well and it being really interesting, but the problem being is there'd be a bunch of people seeing that film not knowing it's a remake or reboot or, you know, break off of the Candyman series. There'd a bunch, because it was just called Candyman. It, like, there wasn't really that much, like, branding in terms of separate it. So I knew a bunch of people that seen that film not knowing about the original one with Tony Todd. So, like, a lot of things would be lost on them. I think that was probably a problem for it. I don't know if it's even a marketing thing. Like, I think a lot of people forget that fucking Jordan Peele wrote that film. Like,
yeah, so fucking.
It's one of those ones.
I don't think, did he write it? I thought he only produced it.
I think he's definitely either that or he's had a pass at the script. I know he's definitely had something to do with it. Let's have a I might check there. I know. I think he might have done a draft. Yeah, written by Jordan Peele, Wynn Rosenfeld, and DaCosta. I don't know if it's one of those where if it's an ampersand they've co-written it, or if it's an and then they've done it. One of those. Either way, he had his fingers in the pie with that, and yeah, it's weird that film hasn't had that much staying power.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I fucking saw so much potential in her as a director from it, like, and like, fucking, that's what these fucking big conglomerates do now, innit? Like, it's like they just catch whoever's fucking hot, and like for a long time, like, you could fucking go and fucking do your Marvel film and just be set for life, like.
Yeah, definitely.
So, like, even if she wasn't stuck in there, like, she wouldn't be short of work. But like, I think she's like the first one that's really been thrown under the bus by him.
Yeah, and also like in first, I guess, I mean, Edgar Wright aside, for like example of filmmakers like addressing any of those criticisms and whatnot. Like she said, like, yeah, I've been stuck in post production for this film for a couple years now. Of course, I'm gonna like go and do another film. But yeah, like you don't see that type of criticism for your James Gunns, for your Zack Snyders, and all these other lots. So it's a bit of an odd one to see, but you know.
Yeah, I definitely reckon
at the moment.
Like the fucking directors that have got like, a lot of fucking support outside of it, like it's fucking like Zack Snyder's got the most insane fucking fan base.
Oh my god, yeah, it's mental, honestly.
Like fucking like the fucking Snyder lot, like fucking like. I think he's got different breeds. Films, like, but fucking hell, like, I just don't understand, like, being like a fucking Taylor Swift fan about it, like.
Exactly. Does seem like Zack Snyder fans are the Taylor Swift fans of that type of film. That's mad. Yeah, man. But yeah, it's an interesting one with the Nia DaCosta situation because yeah, it just seems like she's being wrongfully blamed for a studio fucking up. Essentially, it's a bit of a shitty thing to see.
Yeah, fucking what you call it? I'm hoping she gets to she gets on some instant projects about that, because like fucking I do feel she's been thrown under the bus for fucking being the victim of like oversaturation, because like fucking some of this shit has not been doing well recently anyway.
Yeah.
This isn't the first one that's suddenly gone bad. People are fucking. You've oversaturated.
Like Chloe Zhao did Eternals, and no one talks about that film, and that's a fucking Oscar-winning filmmaker. Like the fact that you know gets falls on deaf ears, because kind of like, you know, a symbol of how much no one cares about fucking later Marvel films, because they're just dying out, and it needs to. When everything ends at such an obvious conclusion, let it end. Like same with Harry Potter, same with all these franchises. When they've got an obvious end, you need to let them end. But of course, they make a bunch of money, so they're going to continue going. But I think a lot of mainstream audiences are seeing that now. And also, if you have to watch a bunch of fucking TV shows to know about the film, just forget about it.
Yeah. And it's fucking boardroom decisions, isn't it? Because like that was always the criticism about horror, that they'd always make too many sequels. But like with those films, like they kind of like a lot of the sequels, like the latter day Nightmare on Elm Street's, like fucking like, you know, they find their audience like years on, like. But I don't think like that'll happen with these Marvel things, because they've just kept so much to a style sheet that they're all weaker versions of what's come before.
Definitely. I think like when you're getting to the point where certain actors don't even know they're doing scenes with other actors because they're just so used to just, you know, the same old green and blue screen, you know, it becomes this just absolutely formulaic system. And yeah, literally like a bunch of different Marvel films have become the same thing. I forget certain ones have already been out. I completely forgot about Shang-Chi, and that actually had some good bits in it. It's a whole thing. But that's the good thing about horror, is you can stay original and actually make money back, because you're always going to get audiences with scares. So that's why you can get a fucking Midsommar and Beau is Afraid making money, because it's people are just going to know it's a horror. Well, I wasn't super impressed with Beau is Afraid. I don't know. Have you seen that one yet?
What should we call it? Fucking. I need a second watch on it. You know.
Yeah.
Fucking like fucking. It was too out there from what I was expecting for me to accurately judge it, I think. Right, and I need another run now. My fucking prejudices are gone from it.
Yeah,
I brought a lot into it, like with it being Ari Aster, like.
Yeah. Exactly. It's one of those ones where, like, I've seen recently, like, he's kind of commented on the backlash, saying, like, you know, you're not supposed to like the film. And it's like, it's always an interesting one when I see that, because you naturally just get a bit skeptical if that's your defense. But then again, one of my favorite films of all time is Funny Games, which does exactly that. So
yeah,
I don't know, like
in the film.
Yeah, exactly. But I think with Beau is Afraid, it's like, I think because it's fucking 3 hours long, and the ending is a bit of a fuck you note. I think that's why I haven't really revisited it. And yeah, it's a bit more of like a surreal comedy type, dark comedy at least. It's a different pace from Midsommar and Hereditary. But yeah, I'll revisit it one day. But it's fucking like one of Martin Scorsese's favorite films recently, which is quite mad to see endorsement wise.
Yeah, fucking we're getting a good trashy one on what should we call it, on fucking Friday. I believe Eli Roth's Thanksgiving's out.
Oh yeah. I've seen Instagram adverts for that. That's how you know that's the barometer for quality there. Yeah, I don't know if I'll wait to see what I hear about it. I know the fucking new Exorcist came out as well, but I heard mixed reviews.
I haven't heard mixed reviews. I've heard it's dog shit off everyone. Like,
right. Then that's it. But yeah, that's an interesting one, because I can't remember the fucking filmmaker. Oh, David Gordon Green. Yeah, he did, because he fucking did Halloween. I didn't like the Halloween remake. I haven't seen Kills or Ends, but I fucking hated the 2018 one. So I'm not running to the Exorcist believer anytime soon.
Yeah, I quite liked them, but it's like fucking if you're gonna play like fucking member berry stuff and like throw your weird little cool references in, like fucking like a font that was used or a little musical cue, you can do that with a slasher. Slashers are inherently dumb. The original Halloween was quite groundbreaking, but like dumb slashers followed. So they're not fucking like you're not fucking like pissing on an entire legacy. But with The Exorcist, like fucking like that's like Oscar-winning film, like. But I'm not fucking checking for it's Ellen Burstyn. Yes,
this is it. I showed my Primark hoodie for audio listeners of The Exorcist. But
I'm Primark fucking Freddy and Jason today.
Let's fucking go.
They always pull something out of the bag around fucking her.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, man. Like, yeah, I can't think. Yeah, no, Talk to Me definitely was the most recent horror film that I've seen this year. But yeah, I haven't. I'll see what happens with Exorcist and I guess Thanksgiving as well. But I don't think I haven't really watched any Eli Roth films now that I think about it. Yeah,
a controversial character, but like I really fuck with fucking Hostel films, like especially Hostel 2.
Right. Yeah. I think I would have first, when I was younger, I would have first seen his name pop up when because I know he was a producer on it. Was when Man with the Iron Fist came out. Didn't watch that either, but I remember as a kid seeing like RZA, Batista, all this thing. I was like, oh, I need to see this, but I don't. Yeah, I haven't seen any of RZA's films either. But I by the sounds of it, I'm not missing out. So.
Yeah, fucking, it's worth a watch, but really, like you're better off like looking for interviews around the time they made it and then finding out what the influences were and watching them.
Yeah,
which is the same with like fucking any of these Marvel films that do anything different. Like fucking, if you fuck with Shang-Chi, which is definitely one of the better ones, you want to look into like Zoo Warriors of the Magic Mountain and that.
Right, yeah, definitely. What was I going to say? My train of thoughts completely fizzled. I'm getting back in my film bag because it's been a while. But yeah. I've got Slither up here. Yeah. I'm just going through all the horrors I've fucking seen this year. I saw my first ever fucking. Oh no, it was last year. But yeah, I saw my first ever Welsh-speaking horror film. Have you seen The Feast?
I haven't yet, which is fucking terrible.
I wouldn't run to it. I'm not gonna lie, I fucking hated it, but it was just a new experience I think that week I saw my first Tollywood film and then my first Welsh speaking film. So I was like, I'm getting cultured. Yeah, it wasn't my best one, but yeah, on the subject of Tollywood, RR is fucking amazing. It's one of my favorite films.
Yeah, that's an absolute story. I think that's still on Netflix if people want to check for that.
Yeah, man, it's so good. I went into it. No, I think I went into it pretty blind, but like it's probably the most fun I've had in the cinema in a while. RRR is definitely a top tier shout. So yeah. How was writing the horrorcore battle on the subject of referencing in battles earlier? Like, because I mean it's a reference battle. So like, how was that experience of like writing stuff? Were you writing certain bits trying to get pops, or was it again strictly for you only?
It was all strictly for me, like, but fucking, it was the most fun I'd ever had fucking doing it.
Right.
And that's the most fun I've ever had fucking writing a battle this year, and fucking DNT Uncontained, my battle at the birthday, which sadly didn't happen. That's the happiest I'll ever be with material. Like, that's why I'm fucking calling it a day. Like, I'm thinking, nope, those 3 rounds, if I'd have got them off how I wanted, that would have been the peak. Might have maybe opened a couple of doors that aren't open now, but I don't think that's going to happen. So fucking it is what it is. So I'm going to be calling it a day.
Well, I'll be looking forward to the Scotland battle, man. Is it the Don't Flop Scotland Cup?
Yeah. It'll be on that December 2nd. Hasn't been announced yet, but fucking. I've
seen the cards up. I didn't mean to spoil anything.
Yeah. fucking, I've been a bit fucking, what should we call it? Like the battle hasn't been announced. Like I've been fucking like, what should we call it? Like slack this year. Like the fucking last couple of battles I've done, like it's like I haven't even written 3 rounds, just fucking freestyled a load of shit. Like, and sometimes that works quite well. Like I really like the last one I did in Scotland with fucking, what's his fucking name? Melody. I really like that one, but fucking, like literally like fucking like 10 minutes before the battle, I was at the bar with ScoMo going, I do not have 3 rounds for this.
Oh, mate.
But the problem is when you can get away with doing that.
Yeah, then... yeah. I'm yet to fall into the late, like, it seems like to be a moment in every battler's, like, air quote career where they realize late prep works and that, like, when the habit starts to kick in. Like, I remember you saying it was like, Tony had that with Adam the Rapper. But, like, yeah, I'm yet to get into my late, like, the last battle I was prepped 2 months out and it was bad, like, yeah, I'm yet to be in late prep mode.
Yeah, fucking stay. The worst thing that you can happen is that you fucking prep short notice and it works, because that's it. Once you know you can do it, then it's fucking so much. Like I say that, like, you know, you're fucking like first year of battling. Like I'm fucking top 10 most battles of all time in the UK on Verse Tracker. Like it fucking gets very hard to fucking pick that pen up fucking a couple of weeks out.
Right.
But I'm gonna put the effort in for this because like I want to sign off on 3 good rounds. So
I'll be looking forward.
So like fucking, even though I can't fucking get in the headspace for opponents like I used to, or get in the headspace for events like I used to, I think I could fucking like. I think I could like write like I'm writing my last 3 rounds now. So
right. It'll be a good swan song.
Yeah, man. So yeah. So fucking, you told me about an interesting battle that hasn't been confirmed at the time. We can't mention that. Have you got anything else coming up?
Nothing at the moment. Just I'm just gonna be. I was gonna start writing on that one. And in general, I want next year to be like me going into a different gear, just out of sheer competitiveness, like seeing some of my peers, like I'm so happy for them, but I'm also like, I need my moment now. And I was kind of like, my last battle is my best battle, and I don't want to have to keep depending on that footage. So I'll be battling a bit more next year, but also selectively, and I'll be actually like releasing some music next year. I think that's the plan. But yeah, I want to touch all 3 major leagues next year. I've done, in my first year, I've done PB and Don't Flop, but I would definitely want an NLC battle as well. My first one next year. Because I want to hit all leagues. That's the plan at the moment. But yeah, just got to get the first one out of the way. That's the plan.
Yeah, man, that's it. Right. We'll wrap this up there. So do you want to drop your socials again quickly for the people?
Yeah, man. So it's DoeJoe MC on Instagram and Twitter. That's DoeJoe MC. And yeah, I've also got a playlist on YouTube. If you type in DoeJoe Versus, that's all battles I've got in chronological order that I've had on Premier Battles and Don't Flop. So yeah, you can catch it there.
Cool. Right. Well, this has been the KSC Podcast. Flyer dropping soon for that Scotland event, and that will be the last time you ever get to see me live. So yeah, KSC, peace.